All right, y'all. If you've ever wondered what it's really like to ride with a Texas biker gang, buckle up. Because today on Lone Star Plate, I'm taking you along for one wild, unforgettable journey. I spent a day as an honorary member of a Texas biker club. And let me tell you, it shattered every stereotype I ever had about life on two wheels. This wasn't just a day of roaring engines and open roads. It was a lesson in community, freedom, and the kind of loyalty you only find deep in the heart of Texas. 8 a.m. Clubhouse arrival. My day started before sunrise on the outskirts of San Antonio. The morning air was crisp, the sky streaked with pink and gold, and the parking lot outside the clubhouse was already humming with life. Dozens of bikes, Harleys, Hondas, custom choppers lined up in neat rows, their chrome glinting in the early light. The clubhouse itself was a converted barn, its walls covered in club banners, old license plates, and black and white photos of rides gone by. I was nervous as I walked up, but Bear, the club president, greeted me with a handshake strong enough to crush a pecan and a grin that put me at ease. "Welcome to the family," he said, handing me a cup of coffee that could wake the dead. I was handed a loaner vest, complete with the club's patch, a mark of trust and, as Bear explained, a symbol of the brotherhood I was about to experience. 9 a.m., gearing up and rolling out. Inside, the buzz was electric. Members swapped stories, checked their bikes, and ribbed each other about whose ride was cleanest or loudest. There were folks from all walks of life, ex-military, teachers, mechanics, nurses, and even a retired librarian named Mama J, who could outride most of the guys. The club wasn't just men either. Women rode with pride, some of them leading the group, all of them respected. Bear gathered everyone for a quick meeting. Today's mission: a charity ride to raise money for the local children's hospital, followed by a community BBQ. "We ride safe, we ride together, and we ride for a cause," he said. The rules were simple: respect the road, respect each other, and always watch out for the person behind you. Then came the best part. The sound of 24 bikes firing up at once. The ground shook, the air vibrated, and my heart pounded as we rolled out in staggered formation, engines growling in perfect unison. I quickly learned the hand signals: single file, stagger, slow down, speed up. We cruised through sleepy neighborhoods, past fields of bluebonnets and grazing longhorns, waving at early risers on porches and getting thumbs-ups from truckers on the highway. 10:30 a.m., pit stop, diner breakfast and stories. Our first stop was a roadside diner that looked like it hadn't changed since 1955. The parking lot filled with bikes, and inside, the smell of bacon and fresh tortillas filled the air. Over breakfast tacos and bottomless coffee, I got to know some of the club members. Tank, a barrel-chested guy with a beard like ZZ Top, told me how he'd found the club after a rough patch in life. "These folks saved me," he said, his voice gruff but his eyes soft. "When you ride together, you look out for each other. You become family." Mama J shared stories about organizing toy drives for kids at Christmas and volunteering for disaster relief. "People see leather and tattoos and think trouble," she said, "but most of us are just regular folks who want to give back." Laughter echoed as stories were swapped. Tales of legendary rides, breakdowns in the middle of nowhere, and the occasional run-in with a stubborn Texas Longhorn blocking the road. I realized quickly that these weren't outlaws. They were neighbors, parents, veterans, and everyday heroes. Noon, the charity ride. Fueled up and ready, we headed to the children's hospital. The ride through downtown San Antonio was a parade. Horns honking, people waving, kids pressing their faces to the windows. At the hospital, A crowd of families and staff greeted us. The bikers handed out stuffed animals, posed for photos, and let the bravest kids sit on their bikes. I watched as a little girl in a wheelchair beamed while Bear helped her rev the engine, the whole club cheering her on. There were tears, laughter, and a sense of joy that's hard to put into words. The club presented a check to the hospital, money raised from rides, BBQs, and donations. "It's not about how tough you look," Bear told me. "It's about what you do for your community." 2 p.m. BBQ, Brotherhood, and Games. After the hospital, we headed to a local park for a BBQ feast. Smoke curled from the pits as ribs, brisket, and jalapeno poppers sizzled. The air was filled with music, classic rock, country, and the occasional impromptu guitar jam. Everyone pitched in, some manned the grill, others set up tables, and a few played with the kids who'd come along. There were biker games too, slow bike races, where balance, not speed, wins, a loudest exhaust contest that had everyone laughing, and even a best chrome competition. The club's mechanic, Wrench, gave me a crash course in polishing chrome until it shone like a mirror. Kids from the neighborhood lined up to sit on the bikes, honk the horns, and get temporary tattoos from Mama J. As the afternoon wore on, I heard stories of epic rides to Big Bend, the hill country, and even all the way to Sturgis. Each tale was about more than just the miles. It was about the memories made, the friends found, and the freedom of the open road. Some members even shared how riding helped them heal from loss or find new purpose after tough times. One rider, Doc, talked about how the club had rallied around him during his cancer battle, organizing rides and fundraisers to help with his medical bills. 4 p.m. Reflections at sunset. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, it was time to say my goodbyes. I returned the vest, shook hands with everyone, and thanked Bear and the crew for letting me be a part of their world. What struck me most wasn't just the thrill of the ride or the roar of the engines. It was the deep sense of community. These bikers were more than a club. They were a family. They looked out for each other, stood up for what mattered, and opened their arms to anyone willing to ride with respect. What I learned. Spending a day with a Texas biker gang shattered every stereotype I had. Sure, there's a love of risk and a taste for rebellion, but there's also a code of honor, a drive to give back, and a bond that's hard to find anywhere else. I saw firsthand how these riders support their towns, raise money for good causes, and welcome newcomers with open arms and a plate of brisket. If you ever get the chance to join a ride, do it. You'll see Texas from a whole new perspective, and you just might leave with a sunburned nose, a full belly, and a few lifelong friends. Final thoughts. As I rode home in the quiet dusk, the echoes of engines and laughter still ringing in my ears, I realized that biker life in Texas isn't about being an outsider. It's about belonging. It's about freedom, loyalty, and the simple joy of hitting the open road with people who've got your back. Whether you're a seasoned rider or just a curious outsider like me, there's a place for you in the Texas biker family. Have you ever ridden with a biker club? Or do you have a story from the open road? Drop it in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more Texas-sized adventures. Until next time, keep your wheels spinning, your heart open, and your spirit Texas strong. This is Lone Star Plate, signing off and already dreaming of my next ride.